Hello and welcome to another one of my top 10 gaming lists. Before I begin, I'd like to quickly skim through some honourable mentions. We've got Fire Emblem Awakening for the 3DS, the old school Roller Coaster Tycoon, and the somewhat more recent Space 4X game, Stellaris. These are all good strategy games that came really close to making it onto my list, but they came up a tiny bit short. Okay, with all of that out of the way, it's time to reveal my top 10 strategy games. Number 10. Warhammer 40k Dawn of War 2 Chaos Rising. I really enjoyed the campaign here. You'll manage your own squad of Blood-Raven Space Marines and have the option of delving into Chaos Corruption for more power. This Chaos Rising expansion also introduced the Chaos Space Marines, which are my personal favourite and all-round badass Warhammer 40,000 race. The multiplayer is also decent here. It focuses a lot more on squad-based gameplay, but I do miss the base building from the original Dawn of War. Number 9. Theme Hospital. This is a bit of an old school game where you can experience the stress and panic of managing a busy hospital. There's loads of great humour here, whether you're curing tongues that have swollen to 5 times their normal length or popping bloody heads and reinflating them. Don't let the casual appearances of this game fool you though, this is a surprisingly challenging game. I'd often repeat some of the harder levels, each time optimising my hospital to achieve my victory goals. Number 8. Lord of the Rings, Battle for Middle-earth 2 and the Rise of the Witch King expansion pack. This is a surprisingly awesome real-time strategy game. This game vastly improves on the prequel, as you can base build nearly anywhere, and you get to access even more special powers. I love being able to summon Balrogs and dragons on top of an enemy's massive army. It's awesome getting to add the heroes of Middle-earth to your ranks, though I will admit the heroes are a little bit overpowered, and this can make matches imbalanced. Some fantastic maps let you relive epic battles such as the Defense of Helm's Deep and Minas Tirith. Sadly, I believe the official servers for this game are dead and it's no longer sold anywhere. Maybe one day EA can relicense this and get it remastered. I'd like that. Number 7. Factorio. Not much makes for a better premise for a game. You crash landed on an alien planet and you must relearn the technology to send a space shuttle into space to save yourself. However, my factories had a bit of a side effect. The more pollution I produced, the more the inhabitants of the planet didn't like me. Micromanaging all the different resources eventually becomes a massive mess. I'd constantly be redesigning my factories to improve efficiency. Cooperative multiplayer is great. With my friends, we each assigned ourselves in charge of certain resources. All our systems would work together. This is a massive time sink, you don't realise the hours that go by. Number 6. Total War Warhammer 2. This is a great turn-based grand strategy. I've already covered this in my previous top 10 games of 2017 video, so really quickly, I love the incredibly well done Warhammer theme here. I can often recognise different regiments of troops from the tabletop game I used to play about 15 years ago. One feature I like in particular, if you own the previous game as well, you can merge everything together for one big massive Mortal Empires campaign that makes use of all races from both games. The 4 different races here feel great to play, and different to each other. The 5th race, the Tomb King's DLC, is definitely also worth picking up. Number 5. Command & Conquer Red Alert. This is actually the oldest strategy game on my list. Yet for its time I consider it quite advanced. A great user interface, queuable commands, and unit groups help set the standards in the future of the real-time strategy genre. Juicy cutscenes with some big actors helped set the tone and invested me in the crazy time travel story where Albert Einstein creates an alternative reality where the Soviet Union battles the Allied nations. What? OpenRA is the best way to play Red Alert. It's a fan project that recreates and modernises the original game. Number 4. Age of Empires 2. This is a classic. What I really enjoy about Age of Empires 2 are the skirmishes and all the multiplayer matches, snagging all the resources, building up huge cities, and making dangerous alliances. It all makes for some really fun games with friends, and to some extent, even bots. The HD edition on Steam is by far the best way to play the game. Having the population cap increase from 200 to 500, and mod support makes for some epic battles. Number 3. StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty. Not only does StarCraft 2 have a great campaign, but but it has great cooperative and competitive multiplayer. Wings of Liberty, in my opinion, is the best of the 3 StarCraft campaigns. There's a very surprising level of detail to every element of the campaign, and it's great that you're even able to make some choices, customise your units, and experiment with small talent trees. Arcade mode has great potential for some unique player-made maps. Some of my favourite arcade maps include Photon Cycles, which is a Tron-esque driving game, and Desert Strike, a more serious tug-of-war style battle between 2 teams. Wings of Liberty and all of the multiplayer elements are now completely free to play, and are well worth having a gander at. Number 2. Dungeon Keeper 2. This is the sequel to one of the first ever strategy games I've ever played. This is a very unique game, where you play the bad guys and get to manage your own dungeons, monsters, and you'll be battling the forces of good. It's really fun. There's a huge variety of mechanics to make use of. I love filling my dungeons with traps, torturing any heroes I came across, and I'd even be possessing some of my most powerful monsters and personally sending them on solo missions. Some creatures think they can use my torture chambers for their own pleasure. A quick slap puts them back in place. The game is quite dated though, and if you're looking for a more modern alternative, more for the overworld on Steam. Number 1. Warcraft 3, Reign of Chaos and the Frozen Throne. Warcraft 3 takes the number 1 slot because it's simply an excellent and incredibly addicting RTS. The campaign here has my favourite strategy game fantasy story. The vast range of amazing characters here will enthrall you to the end, through some shocking and incredible moments. There's also pretty good multiplayer here, managing 3 different heroes, an army, and your base can be a massive challenge. Again, this also features the online arcade mode where loads of great player maps have been made, including the original Defense of the Ancients, or Dota. Dota 2 is now one of the most actively played games on Steam. When I was younger I put hundreds of hours into arcade mode and thoroughly enjoyed discovering all new games or even game modes. This is where I first discovered the tower defense genre. There's been a few rumours going around that Blizzard might be remastering Warcraft 3 soon. I hope this is true. I would love to submerge myself in these fantastic campaigns one more time. And those are my top 10 strategy games of all time. Every game here just so happens to be available on PC, which is a fantastic place for the strategy game genre. I generally prefer the real-time based strategy over the turn-based strategy, but Total War Warhammer 2 ended up being the exception. Feel free to share your favourite strategy games in the comments. I hope you enjoyed my list. Stay tuned for more lists in the future. See you next time.